Love never existed in the West. The Western spirit, certainly since about 1600 BC, I'd say, is the spirit of rape, organized rape, and building on scientific theories of how to rape effectively, how to trick people into think it's consensual, and how to get over on people. Think about the Native Americans, the black people during the slave trade. Think about the different wars and the Phoenix program in Vietnam and the fraternities and all the rapists and the huge the incarcerated population in America, which includes a large number of rapists, and all the rape kits that never have been processed. Love never existed in the West. Alfred North Whitehead, you can't make this up, Whitehead was his name, said the safest general characterization of the European philosophical tradition is that it consists of a series of footnotes to Plato. Plato, right, who basically was a homosexual pedophile whose philosophy justified it, and when Socrates was executed, he started acting like a coward and started to be critical of Socrates, to say things he didn't say when Socrates was there in order to save his own skin. And the state eventually accepted his nonsense, and he formed his academy in 385, around then, which is about 14 years after Socrates was found guilty of corrupting the youth. Now, when we look at the timeline, okay, certainly the Spartans who would wrestle people to the ground and rape them as part of hazing, right? Part of the long-standing hazing tradition, which includes, but is not limited to, rape and sexually immoral behavior, pulling down people's pants, giving them wedgies, and things that have sexual implications and connotations and symbolism. Okay. So basically, the Spartans, after the Peloponnesian War, backed an oligarchy in Athens, right? It was Athenian paiderastia, pedophiles, that was called the 30 Tyrants. Okay, it was about 4 or 5 years after that Socrates is found guilty of corrupting the youth. Then it goes Plato's Academy. Then in 338 BC, Philip II of Macedon defeats the alliance of Chaeronea. And in 336, Alexander the Great overthrows him. In 335, Aristotle founds the Lyceum. So those of you who have done your research, you know it goes Socrates, it goes Plato, Aristotle, and then Alexander the Great as far as the flow of knowledge and students of note. Okay. And this is part of why Alexander the Great, who dies in Babylon, mind you, I believe in 332 BC, is so celebrated, okay, not only for his pushing his armies, far and wide, okay. So basically, when Plato says the wisest have the most authority, you must understand that witten means to know, wizzy means knowledge, and witta means sage, which goes back to the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. Knowledge has to do with experience, dating, sleeping around, okay? You have knowledge of what it's like to sleep with an unattractive woman, what it's like to be raped, what it's like to make mistakes, statutory rape, to rape somebody perhaps, in different forms of sexual immorality. And this is unforgivable. This is despicable. This is disgusting and evil. The tree of life truly is focusing on what is really important. What is really important is love. And without justice, there is no love. What is the justification for your love? When you say, I'm in love with this person. Well, should we have to justify ourselves? I go as far as to say, yes, think about it. Certainly to ourselves, at least in our Creator. If you say you love a horse, explain to me why. If I was the legislator, the lawmaker, why I should make it legal for you to marry your horse. Okay? Why should I make it legal for you to marry little children or to have 10 wives? Certainly you need a justification based on justice. Okay? True justice, mind you. And that is what allows for love. How do you know it is not sickness? I go as far as to say that what most people consider love, or pretty much everyone considers love these days except for me, is actually sickness. Okay? They are in a psychological construct where they're given substances and they're bombarded with images and propaganda directly from the pedophile elite through their most loyal servants and subordinates. This is not love. Most people are incapable of that emotion. These people live in a society where the top martial artist is being drugged. He's losing weight. He's being made weak and thin. He's not in his true state. He's in a drug-induced state with no one following him. If there was love in that society, where is it? They're outside of the divine order. They miss their mark and they refuse to look inside of themselves and look at their DNA and to say, hey, my family started breeding in the wrong direction, got a house in the wrong place, and kept me from the top martial artist. That's why in Egypt there was cult centers. If you were a member of Sobek's cult, could you make the argument, well, my family grew up closer to here, that's why I'm here? No. To be in the right, you need to find your way to Ra or Horus, okay? You're in the wrong place. Why do you want to be there? Why haven't you sought the kingdom of heaven? You're in the same empire, the same country, the same nation, so to speak, that the people who are doing it right are in. Why haven't you found your way to them? Why are you dating some Sobekian whore? Some Apepian dog? Some Temple of Set sniveling rapist? What's wrong with you? These are the guys that think it's funny to put a knife to a kid's neck and to force him to rape a female adult female captive. That's how these dogs get their kicks. They hump anything and everything, and they want the dogs around them to do the same. Even as a child, I would choose death if I was in my right state of mind and not drugged or something. These are those dogs. They think it's cute. They think it's funny. When Michael Jackson rapes kids, right? We're taught to think it's funny, to make jokes about it. When the pedophile elite in Hollywood is plugging kids left and right, it's supposed to be funny. Pushing the shit of a little child is funny in your culture. No one does a fucking thing. Well, the courts don't do anything about it. What can you do? The fuck do you mean, what can you do? Who died and made them God? That's like living in the Islamic State and saying, what can you do? How far do they have to go before you realize that their law means nothing? Let's move on to sex slavery for citizenship and Western conceptions of manhood. I've explained this story in the other video with the same pictures. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and use my shirt off in this video. So why should I give a flying fuck? Okay? Yeah, I am nowhere near as strong or as handsome as I used to be. Women are fucking scum, and even if I look like the most handsome and even if I was flying around like an angel, they would still shun me. Think about it. I've given them more evidence than an angel flying a fucking round would have given them just by his presence. And they still shun me. Alcibiades. It is the complex ideology of Athenian paiderastia that has shaped Alcibiades' own desires. For according to it, love is really two things. Good Uranian love, Uranus, the father of Saturn or Cronus. And of course, it's Uranus because if you insist on good love, in Western society, they single you out and rape you in the fucking ass. That's what they do. Think about it. If you're insisting on lust and you're going out of your way to define love as lust, and to pretend that lust and Western consumerism nonsense is love, oh, I love his money and I love him, it's fucking stupid, right? So who's making you look bad? What do you do to them? Right? This has to do with sexual activity. The logical thing that you would expect for them to do is to find some homosexuals to rape this person and say, know your place. Don't tell us what love means. We tell you. While we're plugging kids, we tell you. And we will get you raped in the ass while we do. Think about it. You think the only reason people in prison are getting raped is because society thinks it's detestable for a rapist to rape? For someone to rape to be in prison, right? When somebody rapes, they go to prison and they get raped because it is about challenging their reproductive cycle and the overall sexual behavior of society. It is not about morality. These are criminals. career criminals that are raping and abusing them. Of course, we can make the argument two wrongs don't make it right and go on and on and on, but I'm pretty sure by now you get it. So there's good Uranian love whose object is the soul and whose aim it is to instill virtue in the younger male, and bad pandemotic love whose object is the body and whose aim is sexual pleasure for the older lover. What causes the split is the need pandemonic love has to mask itself as Uranian love in order to preserve the illusion that the young man's participation in it is compatible with his status as a future male citizen. So the idea, this is from plato.stanford.edu. I'll put it, damn it, I'll put it in the thing, the name of the article. It's in the other video. Basically, the idea is this person is trying to convince this child that he is turning out. He brings him flowers and chocolates and courts them like men court women, right? Valentine's Day, right? He's trying to, romantic, right? Romance, Valentine, Saint Valentine, do the math. Okay, he's trying to convince this guy, this kid, that he's in love with him, and this is what's going to help him be a man. It's the same thing that happens in Hollywood, if you can't imagine it. Why do people in Hollywood bend over for some gay person who's connected, right? In some entertainment corporation or whatever. Why does he do it? Right? Because he's convinced that this is going to help his image and his acceptance in society, especially if he's a minority or something, right? You're a no good black guy. Let us plug you in the ass and we'll make you someone important type of thing. Okay? And obviously, if they took me out of context, you'd be a fucking dumbass to see this inconsistent with my beliefs. You shouldn't be able to say, hey, this is out of context. Or, he was drugged and under mind control when he said that. Okay? But obviously, you see that I'm right. Okay? It doesn't take a genius to see that. It goes back to what I said many, many times. We can't look to the celebrities to define the top martial artists. We have to look where talent is expected, okay, and ignored. And that, of course, is the Nigerian community. Their intelligence, their physical prowess. Okay, then it was like 3-4 million slaves who were from Nigeria, Igbos especially. They came to America, right? And they give us Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Okay? So look to where talent is expected and not the celebrities. There's no way that a celebrity could ever be the top martial artist. I mean, there's no way. It's out of the realm of possibility. Okay? The only way it could ever happen is that the divine order is restored, and that's out of the realm of possibility. Believe me. Okay, these people are hell-bent to elevate beta male bitches and people that bent over for them. Can you imagine a great martial artist who's loyal to God willingly bending over for mass murdering pedophiles, for people that drug up everybody? I mean, it's so outrageous. And you see people with little kids, right? They have their posters and lunchboxes and T-shirts and shit. What the fuck is wrong with them? Okay? Anyway. They go on to say they cannot then be motivated by a reprehensible desire to adopt a passive, slavish, female pleasure-seeking role. Of course, they say, look, the females are pleasure-seeking. They're incapable of love. You cannot you cannot reach what you're achieving by taking on the female role. Instead, it must be invented for it a willingness to accept slavery for the sake of virtue. Basically, to invent for him, the kid needs to invent for himself in order to effectively participate in it, a willingness to accept slavery for the sake of virtue. This goes back to sophistry. Sophistication, which means worldly, kind of technologically advanced and philosophically advanced, right? In a worldly, more relativist fashion. Sophistication, Sophia, the absence of morality. Basically, this is Western conceptions of knowledge versus the African martial arts ideas of meeting one's maker with honor from Egypt. And because they put a special emphasis on saying the Egyptians weren't black, they're white, they're Semites and Jews and all kinds of nonsense, right? The foundation of the black African has to be added. Okay, I don't give a flying fuck about race. I'm not saying the black people are the children of God, right? They're in defiance as well. Black women are acting like obnoxious, petty, feminist garbage with no heart at all. Okay, I have no love for anyone in rebellion against God. Bottom line. Heterosexual, okay? The birth to people that resemble and give birth to the beauty of their Western parents. That's their role in Western society. The homosexual man is pregnant in soul and finds a beautiful boy, wisdom, and the rest of virtue. This, of course, according to their website. Okay, so he teaches society wisdom and the rest of virtue. He gives an account of virtue that can be used for the proper ordering of cities and households. This goes back to the intellect over superstition. Plato and wrestlers. He was a wrestler, right? It goes back to his inability to effectively strike, right? Spirit, so he chose to be a wrestler instead and to teach you how to choke and rape and so on. Thank you.